Hey everybody, Rex Bear League Project. How the heck are you? Beautiful day today here in Southern Colorado. Just got back from an epic bike ride. Super excited to speak with Guy Gotslak today from MyDigitalMoney.com. You want to check out the website, folks. This is so cool. I love options. It used to be when you had a 401 or an IRA, you were pretty much stuck to what your company allowed you to have with their stocks, or very few options. And now there's so many different opportunities, cryptos. I've met people that have made so much money on crypto. I'm just like, yeah, the American dream. So a lot of people are into doom and gloom. Not us here at League Project. We're all about opportunities. And I say, be prepared, not scared. It's nice to know what's going on. It's nice to be aware, but there's always a silver lining. So what have you been up to, Guy? It's great to see you. Thanks for being a guest on League Project.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure. I've been up to basically the same old, educating people in crypto, giving them opportunities to retire, keep up with inflation. Also working on some technical projects because remember I have a technical background. I'm just trying to modernize and kind of move things forward over here at My Digital Money as well. Crypto's been doing pretty well, so no complaints.
Yeah, I noticed just about a week ago there was a huge pop in Bitcoin, and here at League Project, I'm pretty neutral with political aspects. We do our best to be as balanced as possible. I mean, obviously everybody has their own biases, but there was a news article that came out saying something about how Trump could be good for Bitcoin because of some of the people that he wants to put in office. And you know a lot more about that than I do. So, like, what is the situation with that? And then maybe we could talk a little bit about what would happen or what people see happening if Harris becomes the next president.
I think generally the perception is that Trump is good for crypto. Well, number one, he says, pro crypto things, and, you can argue it's not genuine. He's just trying to get votes because, over 40% of American people invest in Bitcoin. But, also he has walked the walk as well in the past. If you look at, his previous administration, he's had pro crypto, crypto friendly people in the office. For example, Mick Mulvaney was his chief of staff, co-founded the Congressional Blockchain Caucus, and he also advocated for regulation that basically benefits the industry as well. So he also had the comptroller of the currency, Brian Brooks, which was a longtime executive in the crypto industry and had a brief stint at Binance as well. On top of that, he's talked about using Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset, and he's actually speaking at the Bitcoin conference in Nashville today. He's supposed to make some kind of announcement. Maybe it'll have to do with that, with kind of how he wants to position Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset. Generally that's kind of why the price spiked up in the week after the attempted assassination, because his poll numbers went up, and people perceived that he was going to win the election. His chances went up, and that's partially why Bitcoin shot up from 57,000 to about 66,000. In the week after the attempted assassination. So. Generally, and also like there's a lot of Silicon Valley people that have kind of joined the Trump camp, Elon Musk and others, and that's partially because they view him as being good for crypto and technology.
Yeah. Now, Mark Cuban, that's a different story. I'm looking at one of his tweets right now from the 17th of this month, and he seems to have a different approach. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean he's generally not pro-Trump, but in this tweet that you're talking about, he still says the price of Bitcoin is going to shoot up, but for different reasons, right? Not necessarily because Trump is pro-crypto, but more his economic policies and how lowering tax rates and adding tariffs, historically is inflationary, and obviously people see Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation, so he's saying that's why Bitcoin's price, along with geopolitical, uncertainty right now, and the de-dollarization, combine all those things together, and the Bitcoin price is going to skyrocket, right? And so I don't disagree that the price will skyrocket, but the reasons why are a bit more kind of contrary. So yeah, but either way, it's good news for Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, that's fantastic news. Now, one of the things that isn't fantastic news, in my opinion, at least for the US dollar, but I mean, there's so many variables here, and I'm definitely not an expert. You know a lot more about this than I do. But BRICS, the nations that are gathering around the world in attempts to create a new currency that will offset the US dollar hegemony. And Saudi Arabia has had a pretty exclusive deal with the US for many years, where they were pretty much only accepting US dollars for petro exchange. And now they're that was actually, this is according to Kitco, the established financial world order of the past 50 years is now transitioning to a new and unknown paradigm as the petrodollar agreement between the US and Saudi Arabia was allowed to expire this past Sunday. And this is kitco.com. I will leave the link in the video description box. Actually, I'll even do a screen share with you real quick so you can see it, folks. Very powerful article that I'm surprised this didn't get a lot more attention.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
mean, this
pretty
is
big deal.
yeah, and it's kind of been a long time coming. We've seen Saudi Arabia kind of trade with other countries in local currencies, and we've seen kind of moves away from the dollar. That's what we call de-dollarization. So this is just another kind of supporting element of de-dollarization, right? Showing that we're moving in the direction of like becoming less dependent on the dollar. BRICS has been talking about creating their own currency, and their own blockchain to facilitate trade in non-dollar form, and so there's been a lot of kind of efforts towards that, with also like recent weaponization of the dollar, with Russia and the sanctions and everything, and so that's also kind of reduce dependency on the dollar. So yeah, there's a lot of that going on, and that's one good reason to invest in Bitcoin, right? To basically have another asset, diversify. Gold is good, all those alternative assets, and yeah, so yeah, it's good to keep up with that type of news for sure.
Yeah, and I find it also. So there's an article titled "An Evolving BRICS in the Shifting World Order." So it says key takeaways: the 10 BRICS nations count for half the world's population and 2/5 of trade, and include major energy producers and importers. 12 more nations have applied. The bloc is starting to build institutions with important implications for energy, trade, international finance, supply chains, and technological research. So let's say that BRICS does get their own currency going, and they do have something that becomes an alternative and a competitor to the US dollar. I know we can't give exaction. There's never any guarantees, but what do you see that doing for the future of crypto, Bitcoin as a main example?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Bitcoin would become, even more adopted. People would have more of a reason to have it because it's a global currency, and you can trade, pretty easily using that currency, right? And I think the value would go up because there's a limited supply, of course. So only 21 million can ever be in circulation, and so the demand's only going to go up, in my opinion. And with de-dollarization, it's another reason to diversify into other assets, and Bitcoin would be one of those alternative assets that is finite and therefore good, kind of like stores value very well, kind of like gold, right?
Yeah. With Bitcoin, if you could memorize the code, you could just have it in your mind and depending on how much Bitcoin you have. So that is a really cool thing about Bitcoin, about how it's an international form of exchange. It's since its inception grown so much. And at first, I think a lot of people were really skeptical about Bitcoin and what it really was. But it appears that there's so many opportunities because of Bitcoin. It's created a whole new reality, a whole new economy, a whole new way to trade, and it's made a lot of people a lot of money, which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. I mean, it's a store of value like gold, but it's much more portable, right? You can settle transactions very quickly, right? You don't need to wait weeks for delivery. So that's a good element about it. And a lot of people, like you said, were skeptical, but I've done a complete 180. I mean, I would say that it is now mainstream, right? We're always talking about this mainstream adoption, like in this like way in the future, but I'd say that we're already there, right? You've seen people like Jamie Dimon, right, the CEO of JP Morgan, do a complete 180, now invests in it himself, and the CEO of BlackRock. All these big asset managers have obviously launched Bitcoin spot ETFs, and all these big institutions, have it on their balance sheet. So, yeah, I mean, the world's done a 180 on Bitcoin. I think it's mainstream now, and it's going to continue.
So recently, the CrowdStrike IT outage. Some news reports are saying the biggest IT outage in history. And talk about a weird parallel to the TV series Mr. Robot. Did you ever watch Mr. Robot?
Yes, I did.
I mean, I thought it was a great series. One of my favorite, man. Really an
Yeah.
exceptional series. But do you remember that episode where it pretty much mirrored what happened just about a week ago with
Mhm.
CrowdStrike?
Yeah, yeah. The world shut down, basically, right?
Yeah. I got goosebumps thinking about it. I mean, that was a pretty, I don't know. So, what are your thoughts on something like that? And first of all, folks, I don't know if you knew this or not. I know we've talked about this recently, but this was a worldwide situation with flights, banks, healthcare systems, emergency services. Even the London Stock Exchange reported a 4-hour outage. Social security offices were closed in the US, public transportation systems in various cities, major airports worldwide. Media outlets, including Sky News in the UK and ABC in Australia, faced broadcasting disruptions. So 1%, they said, of the computers around the world were affected. And this is what happened.
Yeah, craziness. Yeah, I was actually contacted because I'm responsible for some order management system for a company that I'm assisting, and they basically host it on Microsoft, Azure servers, like their cloud computing servers. So then Microsoft came back. This was before any news came out, saying like, "Oh, we have an outage, and the in Central Time Zone, all these servers are down." Um, and so that's how it started for me. That's how I found out about it. And then the next day, I kind of realized the larger impact, with people actually like, not able to fly, and, um, all this stuff that happened just because of a software update, right? Um, and yeah, it's crazy. It kind of shows the centralized nature of our world, and kind of highlights, the benefits again of decentralization, right? Like you have the Bitcoin network, right? They basically, that network is owned by, like, each node is owned by individuals, and those systems that are under individual control are impervious to these remote updates, right? And that offers stability for sure. And so, that's kind of where we're headed, is having like these decentralized applications, right? And that's like the Ethereum network, for example, is where you build these decentralized applications that would be more impervious to these types of outages, right? And so yeah, I think we can learn a lesson there, and I don't think we're going to go to a decentralized world right away, but I think it highlights the need for it for sure. Um, yeah, and so it's kind of scary that the whole world can shut down.
I definitely look at this as an opportunity to learn, and I hope that the organizations that were affected, the travel groups, the airlines, etc. I hope that they figure out a way from this to where it doesn't happen again, and they learn from that. And did it affect you guys? Like,
So it only affected that system, but like not the our not my digital money itself. And you know what, like, so I come from the IT world, and I was a software engineer, right? And so whenever you build an application, like, you want to try to build in redundancy, right? And you want to put in what's called fault tolerance. And so let's say your application does use Microsoft Azure. There's a way to configure it so that if a region goes down, it spins up another machine automatically in like the Western region, or it kind of defaults to another server. And so you know this highlights the applications don't have those things built in as much as they should. Um, and so you should be able to improve. And so I think this will actually be a good lesson. I mean, even for me, like owning this order management system I talked about, now we're putting in like this fault tolerance, right? So if this happens again, it's going to try to find another server that works, right? That's the beauty of the cloud, is that it's more flexible. You can kind of, go and use other servers that are up and running. And so I think this will help, kind of improve how applications are configured.
What do you think of blockchain? Are you a big fan?
Well, yeah, of course, I'm a big fan. Yeah, it's just because of the lack of centralized control, right? In the case of Bitcoin, it's really great to have something that's not controlled by the government, not subject to overprinting. Um, and yeah, I think decentralization is generally good. It democratizes opportunities, and it's a system that can't be hacked. I mean, Bitcoin just has never been hacked, and very unlikely to be hacked. Um, because of the way it's built. It's like a ledger that you can't mess with, right? And you can use it for all kinds of things. You can imagine in the future, all these use cases like DMV records being in the blockchain, so you don't have to necessarily, go into the DMV to do and waste your time. And you can imagine kind of, storing all kinds of records on the blockchain, and you don't really need to depend on a third party, right? And so it just makes things more efficient. Of course, there's a long way to go. We're still early on, but that whole kind of architecture is very kind of useful for just efficiency.
Once again, I think a lot of people just don't really understand the concept of blockchain. And thank you for
Well, I don't expect them to understand it after this explanation because it's so hard to explain. Uh, it's something that will takes a few sessions at least to understand. It's not an easy concept.
I kind of understand it. I understand it better. Thanks.
Well, you do, I'm sure, because I mean, didn't you invest in crypto, or
Oh yeah,
aren't you?
I'm
Yeah.
absolutely. I've got cryptos. I'm a huge fan of cryptos, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I've got a little bit of Ripple just kind of tucked away. Maybe it'll do something one of these days. But yeah, and actually, I was hoping to. What I wanted to do, because I recently got an email. Our last interview that we did, somebody was hoping that I'd get you back on the show because they're thinking about actually going into crypto. They're not really sure how to do it. They want to set something aside for their retirement. And I definitely told them to check out MyDigitalMoney. I told them to ask for you, Guy. Can you, if somebody was going to do this and when they do this, like, do you want to talk just a little bit about it, what some of their options are, what some of the cryptos are, and how it works? Just a quick introduction.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you can go on mydigitalmoney.com like you're showing, and then on the top right, when you click on open an account, you can basically open an account within 5 minutes, right? You put in your name and all your information, and then you can choose if you want to open an IRA or a regular cash account or a play money account, which lets you kind of test the platform without investing real money. And yeah, essentially, if you have an IRA existing somewhere or a 401k, you can roll it into an IRA with us. We use Equity Trust. It's a custodian that's regulated, been around since 1974. You can roll in your IRA and have the tax advantages, right?
Okay.
Um, so that is huge because you combine the tax advantages with the big growth in crypto, right? There's an annualized kind of average return of 65% a year on Bitcoin. Um, that's going to basically give you a real good opportunity to retire with millions of dollars potentially. So yeah, I think that IRA is very compelling, and the other thing is we have U.S. based customer service, so we'll actually pick up the call and answer any question about crypto, about Bitcoin, about how to sign up. So that makes it kind of easier for people that kind of are scared to do it or don't know enough. We try to make it more approachable.
So all these cryptos are what I can put in my account?
Yeah. So yeah, we have
A
these
lot.
crypto. So it's not a huge selection. It's I think it's about 21, and we
Pretty
we do
good.
precious gold and silver as well, and platinum. And that's fractionalized, and I can, if you have questions about that, I can talk about that too.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah. Please. Absolutely.
we are going to add more cryptocurrencies. We're just very selective because, our priority is security and guarding your nest egg, right? And so we're very selective, and the custodian we use is very selective about which tokens are added. So, we might be a little slower to add the newer ones, but we also don't want to just add any fly by night, cryptocurrency. Uh, we want to make sure it's ones that are here to stay.
Six, seven. There's at least six of these that I have. I've got Stellar, Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Chainlink.
Yeah, we also have XRP. We might not have it reflected there, but
Oh, you do?
yeah, we do have XRP as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah. All right. I've got XRP. Um, wow, man. So then I was looking at some of the reviews also. I wanted to show this off because I was really excited to see that. I love seeing 5-star reviews.
And yeah, you can get Google, you can see Google reviews too on Google. So yeah, I mean, we have good ratings because our clients basically rave about our customer service. That's kind of our focus. So haven't gotten less than a 5-star yet, but I guess I shouldn't talk. I shouldn't jinx it.
How much do I need to get started?
You can start with as little as $10. I mean,
Oh,
well, now if you're talking about an IRA, it's $1,000 minimum.
okay.
Talking about just a cash account, just if you want to ACH or wire, funds from your bank account, you can do as little as $10. So there's no real minimum there.
Cool. So I said, well, if I was to set up my own retirement, like outside of a job or something like that, and I did it through you guys, and I put in, say, I put in $10,000, and then I want to start trading, and I want to start kind of moving stuff around a little bit. Can you give me just a quick example on that, like, and
Yeah.
the
So
benefits that would include?
yeah. So let's say that so it doesn't cost money to open the account, and then you could transfer $10,000 from an existing IRA that you have. So let's say you have $100,000 IRA, you can transfer partial, right? You have
Okay.
10,000 or the whole thing, whatever you want to do. So it shows up in your dashboard, just like with other exchanges. You can see you have a cash balance of $10,000. Then you can buy, $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, let's say. And then once Bitcoin doubles, you can sell it. Now you have $20,000 cash balance, and you can leave it in there. You don't have to pay taxes on it until either you take a distribution if it's a traditional IRA, or if it's a Roth IRA, you never have to pay taxes on the gains, right? And then you can, when the market goes back down, let's say, you're in a bear market again, you can rebuy. So now you have $20,000 worth of Bitcoin. And then once Bitcoin doubles, you can sell it again. So you can keep doing that if you'd like. You can also, take that cash balance and then buy, you know, fractional gold, or you can buy Ethereum, or, whatever you want to do. So it's a trading platform where you have control of what you're buying and selling. And then you don't have to worry about the taxes.
How does this fractional gold thing work?
So fractional gold. So basically, we have a kilo bar that we store, and then essentially there's shares of that bar. So you can buy $10 worth of gold, and so then you own a certain amount of shares, right? $10 worth, and so that way it's more liquid. You know what I mean? So you don't have to wait for the gold, whatever gold you buy, to be shipped. You basically have it right away, and so then you can decide to sell that Bitcoin and then park it. I say park it in gold. So in that example, you could take the 20,000, buy gold because you don't want to leave the money in fiat because you're thinking it's gonna be devalued in the next few years. So then you leave it, as gold, and then when you're ready to buy crypto again, then you go back and buy crypto. Um, and so that gives you a lot more flexibility with the fractional gold product because you can buy any amount. You don't need to like buy a specific coin that's worth a specific amount.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so you can accumulate, right? You can say, "Oh, I want to buy $10 every week," and then at some point, if you have enough, you can convert it into a physical product to be delivered to you if you want. You have that option as well.
I mean, that's brilliant. You could just take out $10 out of your energy drink budget or $10 out of your latte budget or something and just dip, 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 dip. And then a few years later, you look at that. Oh, that's fantastic. Now, one of the things I was going to ask you also is, so when you're moving this back and forth in these fractionals, and then you can do that with just, is it just gold, or is there platinum an option and silver an
There's
option too?
platinum and silver.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Okay.
Yeah, and silver, obviously, people is very popular because you have bigger gains there potentially, right? Like it's more volatile as well. So you know, a lot of people are very into the silver, even more so than the gold. But yeah, we have both options.
Okay. Oh yeah, and one other question I wanted to ask. So I've got Coinbase too. I've got some cryptos in Coinbase. If I wanted to take those out and just put them in my digital money into my account under my digital money, can I do that?
Yeah, so the only thing right now, we don't have what we call in-kind crypto transfers. So you wouldn't be able to transfer the crypto directly. What you would have to do is basically liquidate on Coinbase and then transfer the funds and then buy crypto on our end, right? And eventually we will be able to do in-kind transfers. But the benefit of that is that we're less prone to hacks, right? We really focus on security. And so when a company like Coinbase allows you to transfer crypto directly, it also opens you up more to hacks, right? When you can do that automatically. And the other thing about Coinbase is that you're considered an unsecured creditor if you read the fine print. So if they go bankrupt, then you're waiting in line for your crypto. You don't actually really legally, it's not legally yours. So that's the difference with MyDigitalMoney, is that you're actually you legally own your crypto, and so we go bankrupt, doesn't matter. We can't touch your crypto, right, without your permission. So that's the big difference here.
Oh man, that's fantastic. Well, I know what I'm probably going to do then. And I mean, so literally anybody that's just got you got a Coinbase, whatever, folks, if you heard that, that's an opportunity, just something to think about. So thank you so much, man. I like that. And anything else you want to share with us, or any words of wisdom before we finish this
Yeah.
up?
No, I'd say keep up with events if you want to optimize your portfolio and make money. Keep up with try to basically even go to our channel and our YouTube, our Instagram, and
What is your YouTube channel, real quick? I want to show it off.
yeah. Well, let me give you Instagram, because that has the more kind of up-to-date content. My Digital Money US. So that's all it is My Digital Money US.
Okay, excellent.
That's the handle. Essentially, yeah, I think Bitcoin is going to do very well this year. And if you want to invest long term, I think our platform is the way to go. I'm not biased at all. So just go to mydigitalmoney.com, or just give us a call as well. I can give you the number. It's 833-636-2008.
Awesome. And I'm just going to show off the website one more time here. So there it is, mydigitalmoney.com. You can open up an account. Here's your support, and then here's your options. And yeah, so cool, man. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And
yeah, thank you.
Looking forward to speaking with you again.
You too. Thanks, Rex.
Thank you.